Timeless, weightless, boundless. Discovering the most fascinating landscapes on Earth by hot air balloon. 5 countries, 4 continents, 180 days. Up and away with Phil and Ali Dunnington, an Anglo-German couple whose goal is to discover the world by balloon. Breathtaking flights, dramatic landings, exotic cultures, unexpected encounters. Lighter than air, the balloon floats aloft, bringing us closer to man's oldest dream, the dream of flying. Sri Lanka, formerly known as Ceylon. The tropical island is almost as large as Ireland and lies off the southeast coast of India. Coconut palms, rice paddies, and electricity poles are all huddled together in a small space. It's tricky finding a suitable place to land a balloon. And quite a challenge for the pilots taking part in the Sri Lanka Balloon Festival. Anil Jayasinghe has been organizing this meeting of hot air balloon enthusiasts from around the world since 2003. The Sinhalese airline pilot has made the festival famous around the world. Phil has been participating from the beginning, but this is Ali's first time. Palm tree-lined coasts, exotic creatures in the air, on land, and in the water. Temples shrouded in mystery. And of course, the exotic panoramas all contribute to an unforgettable experience. To the west, where the sun sinks into the Indian Ocean, lies Colombo, the capital city of Sri Lanka. Nothing remains of the rustic charm of this former fishing village. The Colombo of today is a modern metropolis and a major port of export for the spice trade. The festival participants from Europe, the US and Asia gather at Parliament Square in the city centre for the obligatory group photo. It's the start of a 2-week ballooning adventure. The adventure itself begins the following morning at Colombo railway station. The historical steam locomotive-driven train is a favourite with locals and visitors alike. The wood-panelled compartments hark back to bygone British colonial days. The train rolls northeastwards at a leisurely pace. The balloon pilots are heading for the centre of the island. The showpiece of the lovingly restored train is the restaurant carriage. And of course, the bar. The classic gin and tonic is generally only drunk after midday, but as the colonial British were wont to say,
the sun is definitely over the yard arm somewhere in the village.
It's water, clear water.
The gin is to keep away the mosquitoes.
We knew where the Brits drank gin tonic.
The nostalgic ride across the island lasts 3 hours before the train arrives at the destination. The next stage of the trip is by bus, from the railway station to Habarana. Sinhalese folk tradition. Guests arriving at the hotel are welcomed by traditional dances. And they receive a welcome by an elephant. The animal is sacred in this country. No more gin and tonic today. The balloon pilots have an early start in the morning. "4:30 a.m. No rain, no wind. An ideal start to the first day of flying." Festival organizer Anil hands out the latest weather reports and, most importantly, maps. Fire is the crucial element in hot air ballooning. The burners are in fact huge flamethrowers that aren't easy to handle. The pilots heat up the air inside the balloon. Hot air is lighter than cool air, which creates sufficient lift to carry several passengers, depending on the size of the balloon. Phil and Ali's balloon is ready for takeoff. The Sri Lanka Balloon Festival has no competitions. For the participants, the fun is adding yet another exotic destination to their logbook. Phil has flown in well over 100 different countries. Ali has yet to catch up.
Country number 45, Sri Lanka in the books. Yoo-hoo! Really amazing. Wow, this is just unbelievable. Amazing. Rocks, mountains, rivers, forests, coconut palms. You don't know where to land.
Ali's experienced eye tells her that landing isn't going to be easy. She already began the lookout for suitable landing spots shortly after takeoff. Using Anil's maps, Phil and Ali orientate themselves. There are little settlements along the major roads, mostly hidden under palm or cashew nut plantations.
There's our breakfast coming.
The goats try in vain to hide from the huge hissing monsters in the sky.
Always good to talk to animals. And they're not so scared.
You can see the cashew nut flowers quite clearly from the balloon. Ali is familiar with the trees from earlier flights.
Wenn die Blüte vorbei ist, dann wächst dieser Cashew-Nussapfel und aus diesem Apfel kommt dann die Cashew-Nuss raus. Ja.
Shimmering white stupas are Buddhist monuments that can be seen from miles around. In Sri Lanka, they're known as dagobas and are part of every temple compound, often with holy relics sealed inside them. Buddhism has shaped this country's culture for over 2,000 years. 70% of the country's inhabitants are Buddhists, but Muslims, Christians, and especially Hindus live here too. For years, warlike skirmishes with the Hindu Tamils gripped the country, but peace has reigned since 2009. During the early part of the day, the sun heats up the earth. Thermal currents are formed, and the winds become unpredictable.
I think the critical thing is that we don't want any more right. We want to be, at the very worst, if we overshoot him, we want to be inside that loop of road.
Yeah, sure.
The other balloons are also looking for places to land. They are few and far between. The best spots are quickly taken.
I mean, you see that thing, but there's just no access, isn't it? That would be a nice field, but no tracks to anywhere.
Right.
Well, the main thing is to find a place to deflate the balloon. And there's space to deflate this thing. That's the trouble, isn't it? You can't just land.
What
somewhere.
about this area ahead? Is that any good?
Yeah, der Wiese.
Your decision, your P1.
Thank you. Well, we're going to try to land on this big rock because it's nice and clean. And there's a site where we can hopefully also deflate with a clean balloon, so it would be a good plan, but let's see what it... Are you Bowen? That's a shot.
Are you Bowen? I'm not
Are you
sure.
Bowen? Might have been slopey when we touched down.
Yeah,
Just brace
that's right, so
yourself.
be careful, folks.
I'm going to go in this grass here right at the beginning. Hold on. I know, you just step up.
Very good. Very good.
Helpers from the nearby temple construction site come running, and their help is needed. The balloon is as tall as a 4-story house. It now has to be carefully folded together so that it can be transported.
Ali, watch it. That's good. Yeah, for pulling. Are we clear? Good. Yes, you are. Very good. Well done.
In the afternoon, our experienced balloon pilots turn into excited tourists. There are some 3,000 wild Asian elephants living on Sri Lanka. For a long time, they were regarded as an endangered species, but thanks to numerous conservation projects, their stocks have slowly begun to revive. Asian elephants don't grow as large as their African cousins, and they have smaller ears. In the past, they were hunted for their precious ivory. Today, it's generally only for photo opportunities. This bull elephant obviously feels bothered. Not an entirely safe situation, as bull elephants can weigh up to 5.5 tons and can flip over a jeep with all its passengers with ease. Luckily, he soon loses interest in the inquisitive visitors. Deep tracks in the rice paddies are clear proof that elephants don't just stick to the diet of leaves and grass. A fully grown pachyderm needs about 150 kilograms of sustenance every day. They can destroy a whole crop, and with it an entire livelihood with their foraging excursions. For centuries, farmers here have guarded their fields at night to frighten off the elephants with noise or even weapons. Out of reach of the elephants, they have built little huts on the rocks or in treetops. These elevated sentry posts offer good views and an effective early warning system against possible marauders. But the nights are long. To stay awake, farmers recite long poems called Pelkavi that have been handed down the generations and are today taught in heritage lessons at school. The next flying day starts once again long before sunup. Hot air balloon flying is not for late risers. Setting up for takeoff on the sports grounds near the town of Dambulla. Everyone has to lend a hand. Phil and Ali's burner needs around 100 litres of propane gas an hour to keep the balloon aloft. It's a cloudy day today, but the weather balloon indicates that the wind conditions are fair. It's time for takeoff. As the day advances and temperatures rise above 40 degrees centigrade, the balloons lose their lifting capacity. But for now, the difference between the outside temperature and the hot air in the balloon is still large enough to carry the basket's occupants through the air. This is why early morning and late evening are the ideal times for hot air ballooning. It's just past 7 a.m. Children are setting off for school. Anil, the festival organizer, has to keep an eye on the balloons all the time from the ground. He coordinates the various teams that will be collecting the balloons later after they've landed. The market just outside town is both rendezvous and bazaar for the entire region. Everything is on offer here, from fruit and vegetables to household utensils and betel leaves, said to be stimulating as well as good for your health. Anil is in constant contact with the balloons. The wind has dropped. Phil and Ali bob slowly up and down above the main road of Dambulla.
The split of the road, look where this roundabout is. See?
Yeah, that's right.
In the schoolhouse, no one's thinking about lessons anymore. The children rush out into the schoolyard. After all, it isn't every day you have hot air balloons floating by overhead.
Ayubowan! Good morning!
Ayubowan means long life and is the standard greeting in Sri Lanka. Ali prepares to land next to the school as the wind is picking up again. She'll have to land quickly. The gap between the palm fronds is very narrow, but it's a dry, harvested rice paddy, and who knows when she will find another place like it.
It's okay, I'm just on the red road. Great! Woo!
School attendance is compulsory on Sri Lanka, and so is wearing the school uniform. Both are paid for by the state. The school system is regarded as one of the finest in Asia, and more than 90% of the population here can read and write.
So we are getting down from here. We are going to start.
On the afternoon agenda, there's a journey backwards in time to medieval Sri Lanka.
About God Siva.
Polonnaruwa, the ancient royal city. In the 11th and 12th centuries, it was the capital city of the island kingdom. Grand temples, statues and palaces were erected and still bear witness today to the power and importance of Sinhalese royalty. It was one of the most significant epochs in the history of Sri Lanka. The ruins today are a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage.
lots of beautiful carvings here. The black stone carvings, all handmade.
The 10-hectare archaeological park attracts hundreds of visitors every day, not only from overseas, but locals as well. But there are still peaceful oases on the grounds. Jacanas live up to their name of lily trotters as they hunt among the lotus blossoms. There are plenty of insects, amphibians and little fish to make it an ideal refuge, despite the tourists. The reclining Buddha statue is one of Sri Lanka's most important artworks. A symbol of Buddhism revered to this day, it attracts many admirers. The ruins are inhabited by tribes of Ceylon bonnet monkeys, a type of macaque, who enjoy nothing more than digging into the offerings left by the devout. A paradisiac life, only rarely threatened by dangerous neighbors, such as this monitor lizard. Macaques live in large family groups and belong to the few primate genera that can swim and even dive. The next day of flying has a built-in adrenaline shot for participants. 2 parachutists from the Sinhalese military have been invited by Anil to risk a jump from the basket of a balloon. Together with Phil, he gives the parachute jumpers a precise briefing. For the soldiers, it's a first. They usually jump from helicopters or airplanes. But free falling from a balloon is much more extreme. The balloon moves so slowly, the parachute jumpers feel as if they're jumping off a high tower. Phil has had parachutists jump from his balloon before.
One jumper into the same location. You guys start up.
They need to be at a minimum of 3,000 feet above sea level, so about 850 meters, to make a jump. But we must climb higher than that in order to start a descent, so that when they jump out, the loss of their weight doesn't upset the stability of the balloon, and the balloon then levels out, and then we create another descent before the second parachute jumper goes.
When we jumping from an aircraft and a balloon, the main difference is we feel sinking effect. Now we feel very fast we are going down, but with the aircraft speed, we are going down and we are going forward. Then we don't feel that different. I mean, we feel from this, when we jump out from this one, we feel sinking effect. That is the main difference.
The balloon of Swiss pilot Adrian Held suddenly looms dangerously close. It's a dicey situation. Phil has to climb in order to avoid a collision.
Adrian, we're above you!
Now the parachute jumpers can prepare themselves for the jump.
Get ready, but not jump yet. Yeah, we need to come in a descent. Yeah. Okay, now you can go up to your jump position and hang on up here facing backwards and ready for jump. Good luck.
Yes, you can go up.
Tell us when you jump.
Okay, get ready to jump.
Don't go much more.
Okay, in your own time, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The parachutist heads for the ground at 180 kilometers per hour in free fall until at last his parachute opens. Meanwhile, his compatriot is ready for his jump.
Okay, we're at 4,200 and we're going to start the descent, so just wait a moment.
Below is okay, no? No balloon?
Your colleague is just about drifting into the launch site. Are you ready?
Go. See you at the ground.
About 500 meters above the ground, he pulls the cord and his parachute opens. Unlike a balloon pilot, the parachutist can steer directly towards his landing site. And lands on a harvested rice paddy. Meanwhile, Phil and Ali float on in their balloon. From the air, the scenery unfolds beneath them. A wonderfully fertile land that provides its inhabitants with everything they need. A majority of the population of Sri Lanka lives off the land. Apart from rice, farmers also grow spices, caoutchouc trees, and coconut palms. Farmers live in amongst their plantations.
Hello, everyone.
Rice paddies and coconut plantations characterize the landscape of Sri Lanka. The coconut palm is also known as the tree of life. Its fronds, fruit, and wood can all be harvested and used.
Preferably want to go left of it and over towards the main road.
But however fascinating the views, balloon pilots can't afford to lose track of the traffic situation.
Do you see them?
Phil and Adrian have another close shave.
Okay, we're clear.
Kann ich hochkommen?
Wo sind sie? Da.
Schon drüber, also keine Gefahr mehr.
I think we should aim towards...
The rule here is the lower balloon has right of way, because the one up above can see more and can take evasive action. Many of the rice paddies are ready to be harvested. But it's the dry, harvested rice paddies our balloon pilots are looking for. A banana tree brings Adrian to a halt. Ali chooses a field in the vicinity and manages a landing with no braking assistance, although it's a bit bumpy. A balloon in the middle of a rice paddy is grand entertainment around here, and the locals are more than ready to lend a hand.
Thank you, that's good.
Okay, Anil, it's okay?
Adrian contacts the organizer, Anil, and gives his landing coordinates.
Yes, we're next to Adrian, and I can quickly, we're about...
The followers have to know exactly where they can collect the pilots in the maze of fields and narrow pathways. There is almost blanket mobile phone reception here, which helps. Meanwhile, a flatbed truck is on its way, but it can't negotiate the narrow dirt tracks. It's going to take sheer muscle to carry the heavy baskets to the nearest road intersection. The lucky ones manage to hitch a ride. The big truck has enough space for all 14 festival balloons. Dark looming clouds signal a change in the weather. Storms are unusual in March. The monsoon season starts in early April and lasts until October. There's no question of flying their balloons anymore. The heavy rains drive the festival participants away from the country's interior. They head for the coast on the northeast of the island for a bit of sun, sea, and relaxation. The white beaches of Sri Lanka were once a holidaymaker's paradise. Until Christmas 2004, the tsunami of the century hit not only Indonesia and Thailand, but destroyed the south and eastern coasts of Sri Lanka completely. Almost 40,000 people lost their lives, buildings and boats were demolished, and the country's infrastructure was totally disrupted. The effects of this natural disaster will be felt for a long time to come. There is still not enough money to rebuild villages and replace boats. The fishermen aren't starving, though. Their traditional method of trawl fishing yields rich bounty. Helpers receive a part of the catch, and there are always takers for the rest. As soon as the storm front passes, Phil and Ali return inland for another flight. They're on their own today, as the other festival participants preferred to stay at the coast. But Phil and Ali didn't want to miss a day with such perfect wind and weather conditions. Anil faithfully follows them in the retrieval car. The morning sun shimmers magically across the calm fields below. Rice paddies far and wide. From the air, it seems as if most of the island is covered in them. But the rice produced here only covers domestic needs. Rice is the staple and is eaten at every meal. Countless dams supply the water essential for rice crops in the paddies.
They're trying to land before this, so they should be on the other road.
The dams are a great favorite of the water buffaloes. These powerful creatures have for centuries been employed here as beasts of burden. They are strong, yet peaceable. Wallowing in water and mud cools their skin and protects them from irritating insects. To grow a kilogram of rice, you need between 3,000 and 5,000 liters of water. During the monsoon season, rain is plentiful. When the monsoons are over, the 2,000-year-old irrigation system, with its man-made dams and channels, ensures that the rice paddies can be used year-round. The high-yield rice crops can be sown and harvested 2 to 3 times a year. The farmers each farm their individual allotment. The work is exhausting and usually only brings in enough to feed their own family. But most Sri Lankans still live off the land. Anil has to hurry up. The balloons are just about to land. And once again, the balloon pilots are looking for a suitable place to land. Harvested, but not yet flooded for the next crop. It's not an easy task, navigating among the multiple hazards of electricity pylons, dams, roads, and flooded fields to find a landing place that's also in the wind direction. Often, they only discovered just before touchdown whether their choice was a good one. Ali steers towards a free patch of farmland and sets the balloon down gently. A textbook landing.
Everybody alive? Yes! Yeah. Good team.
Phil to Anil, we're on the ground adjacent to a road in a relatively dry patch.
Alrighty, we'll backtrack.
Right away, Anil sends his helpers off to collect the balloon. As in every Buddhist country, there are numerous stupas on Sri Lanka. They were originally erected as tombs for eminent monks, but soon became a symbol of the teachings of Buddha. A stupa should be circled clockwise, which is said to improve one's own karma.
Okay, we've finished our karma now.
A belief in reincarnation is useful when you're driving a car in Sri Lanka. Hair-raising overtaking maneuvers on the narrow roads seem almost obligatory. Hooting is pretty mandatory as well, and no one takes offense. The next destination for our balloon pilots is the Central Highlands of Sri Lanka. It's a 3-hour bus ride along a winding mountain road. In 1972, with the declaration of independence from the British Commonwealth, Ceylon was renamed Sri Lanka. However, Ceylon tea is still recognized today as a symbol of quality. Together with India, Kenya and China, Sri Lanka is one of the largest producers of tea in the world. And the area around Nuwara Eliya is a major producing region. Nuwara Eliya lies about 2,000 meters above sea level, and with a temperate 16 degrees centigrade average, the climate is ideal for growing tea. Tea harvesting is women's work. A stick indicates which leaves and buds may be picked. Whatever grows above the level can be harvested. A woman can harvest around 18 kilograms of tea every day, for which she receives payment of about $2. The tea leaves are taken to a nearby collection point, where every sack is carefully weighed and the weight noted. Afterwards, the still green tea leaves are put through a complicated process of fermentation and drying. Nuwara Eliya is known as City of Light. There are many stories explaining why this is. One of them claims that nowhere on earth is light reflected as mysteriously in its dew and raindrops as up here. The roar of waterfalls forms a constant background sound. But the beautiful landscape is not the only reason for this journey into the Central Highlands. Nestled among its green hills lies the Grand Hotel of Nuwara Eliya. The exterior looks a little like an English country manor. During colonial times, it used to be the residence of the British governor. Phil and Ali have something special in mind. But will the wind cooperate? It's worth a try. This is a prize-winning English garden. But Phil has been given permission to take off in his balloon from here. Getting a 20-meter high balloon inflated and up in the air in such a cramped space takes a lot of helpers. The hotel employees form a human fence to protect the costly herbaceous borders. The fan first blows cold air into the balloon to inflate it. There isn't enough space to inflate the balloon as much as usual. Phil has to switch on the burner so the heated air in the balloon can get it to stand upright quickly. This is the critical moment, as the still semi-inflated balloon can easily catch fire.
Let's just see what happens. I think it'll come out. Come out, okay.
Everybody hands on phone, lift your feet.
Well done, everybody. Very good.
Fantastic.
I hope not one petunia has been damaged. Let's have a photograph of you for our records.
Okay.
And thank you very much for allowing us to be here at your beautiful hotel.
It's a very nice thing, you know, I think first time in New Delhi.
Fantastic, but not the last, I hope. You're part of history now.
Without the weight of the hotel manager, the balloon nearly takes off on its own.
Hands on, please, hands on. Right, okay.
But Phil has no intention of flying off alone.
Hands off. That's fine. Let go, please. Hands off. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the Grand Hotel.
They did it. From the air, it seems even more unbelievable that they could have taken off from such a tiny space. In the 19th century, British colonial officers used to come to Nuwara Eliya to rest and recuperate. The damp climate and frequent foggy mists must have reminded them of home far away. Many buildings and gardens from back then are still preserved today. It was the era of the powerful tea barons. Ceylon tea became world famous. The wind direction is ideal and blows Phil and Ali to the only good landing site for miles around.
Where's the racetrack? That's the racetrack. That is the racetrack, yes.
Olli, was seid ihr? Ja, wir landen jetzt in der nächsten.
After 20 minutes, the flight is over, and Phil has fulfilled a long-held dream.
Well, this is the flight I planned 8 years ago when I was here and thought we've got to do this, and now we have. Oh dear, there's a horse. Hang on, there's a horse. Okay, I'm going to be landing on this track.
Phil lands safely.
That's good.
Everybody lands on.
Here they are. The team are here. Good boys. Oh, well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's really
Thanks very much.
A successful conclusion to the 14-day trip.
Happened. That was brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's time to return to Colombo. The drive back to the capital takes 2.5 hours. Of Sri Lanka's 20 million inhabitants, only 600,000 live in Colombo. Colonial buildings rub shoulders with high rises and stupas. The city is a veritable potpourri of cultures and centuries.
What up there? There?
The last place on the balloon pilot's itinerary is fittingly Parliament Square. The festival ends with a night glow right in the city centre. The balloons light up the night like enormous lanterns. Festival participants are bid farewell with music and dancing. The early mornings, the eternal search for suitable landing sites, all forgotten. What remains are the memories of breathtaking balloon flights over the island, rightly known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean.